So guys, we have a bit of a problem. The motorcycle has been shutting off multiple times. Welcome back to the Freemilesmc, and we're today back on the road here in Serbia, and we're currently in Belgrade, and we will today make our way to the Machlich fortress, which is a decaying fortress that is not being upkept, but it's still a historic site, and really curious about seeing that. And we have about a 2-hour drive there. How was my time in Belgrade? I met with one of you guys, Igor, and he gave me the opportunity to ride his Royal Enfield Classic 350. Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. Wow, this is nasty. Okay, so where should we go? Okay, I'm completely wet to my underwear. So the weather luckily has improved, the sun is back out. And I had such a good time. It was such a fun experience just driving through the Serbian countryside on that bike. And we had a look at a few sites. We had a look at a big TV tower that was destroyed in the Yugoslavian war and then built up again, with a gorgeous view above the city. And we also went to the second biggest Orthodox church in Europe, which is quite new and with quite a lot of gold, and that was pretty wild to see. Belgrade seems to be a really nice city. It has a lot of weird parallels to Los Angeles in the US. It really feels like if you would take Los Angeles out of California and would put it into Eastern Europe. Because you have this huge sprawl of the city, you have everything built more into a spread out area, which leads to like the different neighborhoods having their own little community feeling, similar to LA. You have also more of a systemic building structure, similarly to LA, and also like when you drive over the highway and you drive past all the flat buildings and occasionally come past a few skyscrapers, which also look kind of similar actually. Like there's one building that looks a lot like the Virgin Records building. Like it feels so similar being on the highway, you know? Like driving over the highway like through Belgrade feels a lot like driving over the 110 in Los Angeles, which is so weird. It felt so eerie. Apart from that, it's crazy to see how many Serbian flags they have on the highway. They must get discount in bulk or something. It's crazy to see just going like 3 kilometers and only seeing those like flags. And it's wild because it actually feels very similar to that city. It's basically like you have something and you recognize it and you think like, yeah, this looks if you like, I don't know, Eastern Europe, Melrose Avenue. Nice. And that's actually so wild. Also, something that I have to tell, I had quite a lot of problems with the electricity here in Serbia so far, because I tried to upload my video and I just couldn't because there was no electricity. I'm currently here still in my hotel editing, and there's now the third power outage of the day. I hope they can get it fixed because I need to get this video out by tomorrow, and I'm working here with the emergency light. So yeah, shit. We're now working with beautiful candlelight, I guess. And yeah, I hope that later maybe McDonald's is still open so I can upload my video with their Wi-Fi, because no electricity, no Wi-Fi. I see the people in the house across from me are also having involuntary candlelight dinner. Yeah, and the street lights are out too, so hopefully I can get this YouTube video into the internet somehow. So let's make our way to this decaying fortress. So guys, we have a bit of a problem. The motorcycle has been shutting off multiple times and has been losing power in between. And we have gotten gasoline over 10 kilometers ago, and I feel like we have fueled up with bad fuel. It seems good enough to keep the motorcycle running, and I hope that the Indian-made characteristics of this bike make it survive. But yeah, I think I should try to top up with good fuel as soon as possible, so we get some good stuff in the mix, because I feel like we have old fuel in the tank. Also, when I pull in the clutch, sometimes the RPMs are like falling then very rapidly, and the bike is even turning off, so that's not good. And everything was running fine before, and both cylinders are firing, everything is... This shit, you know, like all of a sudden the power is gone. Yeah, and the only thing that's different than usual is the fuel. So let's pull over at the next gas station and get some, yeah, now it's not pulling. I'm twisting the gas and it's not going. What kind of shit fuel have they put into my tank? I also don't have full power. Both cylinders are still firing, so it's not a spark plug failure. It must be the fuel. And then for a few engine repetitions wasn't firing the engine. So it says if your engine runs erratically, and that was the case. It was more of a light issue, but still. So the issue doesn't seem that bad. Let's continue driving, and as soon as I find another gas station, put some high octane fuel in it, or maybe even get the old fuel out. And yeah, let's continue on our route.
สู่ RLG นะครับ EP นี้เป็น EP พิเศษนะครับที่มีเพื่อนๆ request เข้ามาครับถามเรื่องวิธีการถอน
So I have so far only taken off tanks on motorcycles that had a fuel cock and like carburetors and everything. So apparently I did some googling, and here is also some electrics involved. So wish me luck. So let's hope that this toolkit has all the little ones that we need in there to get the tank off, but I think it should. I tried to find something to put in into underneath the tank and wanted to look in this container here, and there was a fucking cat in it. Yeah. The carrot scared the shit out of me. I thought for a moment it's a raccoon. For any one of you, if you are in the shit, you have 5 cables underneath this thing. You have this one, you have this one, I think, for the fuel, and you have this, I think this is the deep pressure one, or you take this one off, and another plug over there. So let's take care of that green one. Let's try to see how we remove this plug right here. Okay, come on. Ah, we got it. I was trying forever to get this fuel line off because I thought I have to remove these ones like on older bikes, but you can just pull it like a plug. Pretty cool and pretty easy to work on actually. So I now have the fuel tank here with me, and over there is a gas station, and I will ask if I can pour it, I don't know, in some reserve there, because I don't feel comfortable pouring that stuff just onto the grass. So let's get some new fuel. So these are all the plugs that we need to find again. There are 2, like I only now see here 3 adapters, and I'm missing 2. Oh, they're down there. Okay, so we got everything. I hope now that everything is fine, because I'm worried about potentially having ruined my injectors on the bike, because the tank was still had some fuel in it, about 3 signs on the fuel meter. Then I put fuel in, and then after like 8 to 9 kilometers it started to make weird stuff, and then I very quickly realized what is probably going on, managed to pull over, Google what's going on. So the bike all in all ran maybe 14-15 kilometers on bad fuel, and I was realizing how it was getting worse, you know, like my like when I was then getting closer to the gas station, the bike had trouble pulling over 80 to 100, and was like running unsmooth. Now everything seems fine again, but of course, like clogging up your injectors with bad fuel is like a risk of riding a fuel-injected motorcycle, you know. Because many times when people discuss like big motorcycle trips, there's often a discussion between carbureted and fuel-injected, and I'm going for fuel-injected as I'm missing the mechanical knowledge. But the problem is, like, if you have a fuel injected bike and then get like the ignition system destroyed through something like that, then of course you have a problem, because then you need to wait for that part to be replaced. I hope now me putting fresh fuel back into it does the trick, because I read on the internet that if you drive the bike with bad fuel, the bike either starts not at all, or you experience what we just had. And then if you keep riding the thing, it leaves traces of some sort which can damage the bike. So I hope now this was the right decision. The problem always with like then repairing stuff yourself is you're kind of like a Dark Ages medieval doctor. You don't know jack shit, and you can just like, I don't know, try to common sense your way through it, which is now what I did, and like with a few YouTube tutorials. So let's hope it's fine and make our way to the fortress. Maybe also everything would have been fine if we just have kept riding through the tank with the very bad performance, but I didn't want to risk that, and you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. And yeah, I'm proud of myself that I managed to get the tank off the bike, because it's the first time that I got a tank of a fuel injected bike. I usually only did that on carbureted ones. And like as soon as you hear like sensors being unplugged and electricity, that's kind of where I'm like, I don't want to touch it, you know. But yeah, we did it. I mean, it was a quite easy job that can be done by everyone. I was just like scared before doing it, and yeah. So, up there is the fortress, but I cannot seem to find a way to get to the fortress. Maybe I can see something on the satellite image. There you have a path. That footpath goes somewhere towards here. First of all, we need to find a bridge. So, let's look into the Google things, because, yeah, like I already saw that the hike is a bit adventurous, but I mean, there's just no way to get to it. A guy here wrote that apparently 1.5 miles up the road there is a crossing, and then it's a very tough hike that they have not tried themselves. So let's at least check if we find something 1.5 miles up the road. So it looks like it's going to rain terribly in a few minutes. I've now put something that potentially looks like a crossing into the navigation system. Oh, a completely destroyed car. Wild. According to Google Maps, the hiking path is here on the other side, but I between the trees cannot see anything. That's not really encouraging. I think that is the bridge. So, this is the bridge. This is the only crossing, and the water down there is flowing quite rapidly. And if we now make it here towards the beginning of the bridge, you see there are holes everywhere, and there are cardboard, and there are a few planks having been laid across here to make it passable. And this is how the rest looks. And this is also a suspension bridge on rusty cable. Honestly, Indiana Jones my ass. I'm not doing that. Like, that doesn't look that safe. You know, like, adventure is always nice and whatever, but you see those ones are not holding up here at all. You only have it until there, and then the suspension bridge starts. I'm sorry, you're seeing this bridge. I am over 100 kilos with my clothes and my gear on. I'm 100% not doing that, because that's a suspension bridge on very rusty wire with floorboards that look like this. And I mean, you're seeing this here already. And it would be about a 20-meter drop. Yeah, no. We're not doing this. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. You see, these ones are quite stable. And now, those are all the rest and those ones here are the other ones. And also, those are the only ones for the whole river crossing. I mean, look at this. This is ridiculous. I don't even have the balls to fully lean on it over here. So, yeah. Let's forget this. So, I'm going to show you how the fortress looks from the point from the road that we can access. And then let's find a place to stay, also because it has already gotten quite late.
Short little trigger warning. Sometimes on my motorcycle trips I encounter quite sad and miserable things. In the past I didn't include these things, but I now made the decision that I will start showing them to give you a really accurate picture of the countries that I'm traveling to. So, trigger warning when it comes to the life of street dogs. Sadly, Serbia has a big problem with street dogs. The animal rights situation in the country is quite bad. Often dogs like this get killed in animal shelters in unethical ways. Animal protection laws are in place but are often not really enforced. It's very common to see dogs on the street severely malnourished and often dead, either driven over by cars, shot, burned, or crippled. I decided to shine a light on this issue because it's something that you will notice when you travel through Serbia. I'm thinking about not just showing the good sides of my motorcycle trips, and because sometimes you see quite horrific shit on these trips. For example, stuff like this, or illegal prostitution on the German border, severe child poverty combined with drug use and homelessness. Also, sometimes actually really bad conditions in the Western European countries that you wouldn't expect as well, that many people just glance over. And often when I tell stuff that I've seen that I don't show, many of my friends pointed out that I then play things down on the YouTube channel. Please feel free to let me know in the comments what your opinion is on this. Do you want an accurate picture of these countries? I want to try to do that in the room that is possible for me, and also on YouTube, especially as these themes are already underlining in a lot of travel content and are hinted at with thumbnails and so on. I don't want to depict these things as the slight theme of adventure. I want to show them objectively for what they are. If you don't want that, that's, by the way, also completely fine, and I completely understand if it's a pure escapism, and no judgment there. If that's what you want, completely fine. Just leave it in the comments. And don't worry, this kind of stuff comes up quite rarely, so it will mainly be good vibes. As long as it's actually good vibes in the country, you know?
So we now waited out the rain, so let's go, because more and worse rain is to come. It's not that late yet, but I will still call it an early day because, I mean, do you see that? It's 6 in the afternoon, and if it looks like that, it's going to be terrible rain very soon. Yeah, today's episode is kind of also a testimony that sometimes stuff doesn't go to plan. Because I wanted to look at this little fortress and, yeah, first the bad fuel, which I do have to say it was a good call to get new fuel into the tank, because I just realized basically the bike isn't running right, I'm losing power, the bike is turning off, and that right after I fueled up. And it could have also been something else or something, but then I put different fuel into it and now everything is running fine again. And the thing is, you most of the time don't get that satisfactory feeling of, yeah, I did something right when you like do something right, you know, because most of the time you don't find out how shit it goes if you wouldn't have done that. So I think I can be proud of that we managed to made the right decision there. And it's something that I definitely noticed here in Serbia, is that you have a lot of like street dogs running around, and they're sometimes in like little packs, and they look very domesticated, but they're like just like wildly running around. And I don't know, sometimes seems very sad, especially because you also see so many of them here run over. And yeah, like earlier I saw a group of dogs who didn't want to leave the place where they where another dog got run over, and they just like stayed there a few meters away from it. And yeah, so I now booked a place in this little village. I hope that the Wi-Fi is decent. This looks like something. This looks like it could be the place. Hello?
So, I am now in my hotel room. It's this little place and with the little bed. Sadly, we don't have any internet here at all. The place theoretically has Wi-Fi. I just cannot manage to communicate with the owner of the hotel that the router has a problem which needs restarting. I mean, I tried to communicate that with him, but he's a bit older, so he doesn't want to restart the router in case it then works even less. But right now it doesn't work at all, so yeah. But so 2 days without internet and trying to find a place to upload my next video. Yeah, that's a bit the thing on this trip. Always something is missing. Last time it was electricity, today it's internet. And if you like what I do here on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and also check out my other socials. The links are down in the description, and see you soon.